Darci's Corner. So I've decided to do a small video about another controversial topic, especially facing the trans community, and that's Harry Potter. And it's okay if you all don't like Harry Potter or don't like my views. If you don't like my views, I don't know why you're watching my channel. God bless. Uh, but anyway, so J.K. Rowling has been out for a number of years now as being incredibly transphobic, and she doesn't hide it. And she wrote a book where the principal character, who isn't trans but kind of is a serial killer and a rapist, and just putting on dresses to get in women's bathrooms, which is like that's the fear that unfortunately people with her mindset really have in their brain, and they just can't seem to get over it. That, and we're just transitioning so that we can beat up women in sports and things, or so we can justify all sorts of other horrific behaviors. Anyway, I'm watching my video now get incredibly dysphoric because I see my forehead getting higher and higher. But what are you going to do? I'm human. Hold on a sec, I'm going to try and fix that. Ta-da! Bangs are a girl's best friend. Anyway, but the Harry Potter verse and J.K. Rowling's point of view in life. Now, for the record, I started reading Harry Potter many years ago, after the third book came out, and I kind of fell in love with the imaginary universe where you could, just lose yourself in fantasy for a few hours, just reading this wonderful world where you can wave a wand and make anything happen. And there's scary things there, but there was wonderful things there too. And there is, especially if you're a trans person, you spend so much of your time living up here just imagining what life would be like if you could wave a wand and make things different. And so the Potterverse is a very wonderful tool for that. And I know that many trans people feel that way about the community, or they did up until JK went out and started posting all her really hateful views on the subject, which is really too bad that she did that. But this is my take on the Harry Potter universe and the trans community. We can do with it as we will. After she made that world and put it out into the world, and she gave us the Potterverse, it's not hers anymore. Yeah, she was the original imagination that created it, but anybody who's involved can be a witch or a wizard or a warlock or whatever the magical thing is, and that's your imagination. That's your world now. So I know people are like, well, I'm not going to give her any more of my money. I got news for you. She's already got all the money she's ever going to need in life. If you don't spend $10 or $20 or $40 on a book, she's not going to notice, okay? She's good. It doesn't matter if she never makes another nickel the rest of her life publishing anything. She will be just fine. Okay, she's made a tidy sum of money for her intellectual property, right? Which she sold. Okay, so she does not own the Potterverse anymore. It belongs to humanity, and we can do with it what we want. I often use the comparison to Disney. Disney was a good man in some ways, and in other ways he was not such a good man. And especially if you watch some of they're all old now, but the classics that he founded, there's lots of racism in them. And some is subtle and some is not so much. And I don't agree with any of the racism that's in them, and yet I still have wonderful memories of Disney. And Disney taught me some pretty good values, I thought, about doing the right thing and believing in magic. Obviously, it's all illusion, but it's still a wonderful place to go. Disney did some wonderful things for the world. Unfortunately, he also had some very negative viewpoints on certain people who he didn't think qualified as people or were the same. It's unfortunate he had that viewpoint. But guess what? We can do whatever we want with Disney today, and it's ours. Well, we can do whatever we want with the Potterverse today, and it's ours too. So it's unfortunate that J.K. doesn't love me and my kind, but many don't. If I'm going to stop doing things because somebody involved in the organization or even the person founding the organization hates my kind, holy crap, what am I ever going to do with my life? Nothing. There's so many people that hate us. I do care, and I wish I would stop, but I'm not going to let anybody take anything from me anymore because I've changed my appearance and I've become my real self. Too many people want to take things from me, and too many people have taken things from me. You can't have my imagination. You can't have the, what do you call it? The sanctum, the inner sanctum that is my books. It's where I want to go when I want to not worry about this world, and I can just worry about another world, and I know that that book has an ending. And sometimes it's parts of it are sad, but ultimately it's much more satisfying than my life. So I like my books. I like my fantasy realms. I like witches and wizards, and I also like learning about history and how things came together. And a great work of literature is a great work of literature, regardless of the founding beliefs of the person who wrote it. When I read Harry Potter, I don't read racism. I don't read anti-Semitism. I don't read anything to do with hating anybody that I'm aware of in this life or this world. I do read a lot about bigotry in there and a lot about persecution of other people who are considered less than. And the books are kind of against the persecuting of people who we consider to be less than, and that we should not consider anybody to be less than, which I think is actually a very positive message. Which is very sad that such a person with those types of values would still have such a negative view of a segment of the population that has no real control and no real power. But that's fine. She can have her views. But guess what? I'm still going to enjoy the fantasy. I'm going to enjoy the books that I have read. I'm going to enjoy the actors and the performances that they put forth. And I'm just going to enjoy myself. And I hope that if you are trans or trans friendly, that if you love the Harry Potter verse, keep loving it. I'll bet you that pisses her off more than anything else. That people like myself are still immersed in it, and I'm not going to let her take that from me. Sorry. You can't have that one back. It's mine now. Anyway, if you all don't like it, that's cool. Like, we all have our own tastes. No judgments. But if you are interested in it and want to enjoy it, please don't feel any guilt whatsoever if you are a trans ally that you enjoy the Harry Potterverse. Why would you? The Harry Potterverse is not about excluding trans people. J.K. Rowling may be, but the Potterverse isn't. So, you can't please everybody. Anyway, this is Darcy's Corner. Hoping you enjoy your holidays and hoping you enjoy whatever books excite your imagination. Out.